Hey guys, welcome back. It is time for another reaction video today. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a video that one of you guys actually suggested for me. It was a little bit morbid when I read this suggestion. The person suggested you should react to what happens when the queen dies. And I was like, geez, that is kind of morbid. Now for the record, we all know the queen's never going to die. She is aging wonderfully. The pictures I've seen of her is like she does not look her. She looks older, but she does not look her age, and she definitely looks very healthy. So whatever they've got her her vitamins and stuff, she's gonna live another 100 years. So this whole video is not even. There's really no point to it because she's never gonna die. But it'd still be interesting to see what would happen if she died, because I mean, that day will never come. You guys don't have to worry about that. But if it did. Anyway, it's from the channel Vanity Fair. It's a couple years old, so I don't know if that means some of the stuff has changed or not. Before we get in this video, if you guys could like and comment below. The likes help the YouTube algorithm, and commenting just is great for me to read your guys' comment, future content that you would like to see me do. And I just really enjoy reading the comments and reaching out to you guys. Also, check me out on Instagram. I will put the link down below. The name is Innocent American 25. Quite a few of you guys have actually been messaging me. I've really enjoyed talking back and forth one-on-one like that. So feel free to check me out. I don't post a ton, but I'm active in the sense that I will respond back to you guys. So go check me out. For those that are new to this channel, I watch random videos, mostly about facts of the UK, and react to them. If you like that, and if you're new, go ahead and subscribe. Anyway, with that being said, we're going to get into this video and see what happens in case the queen ever died. Before we get into that though, I did want to bring up, it's not really a big deal when the US, well, it is kind of a big deal when we have a president that dies. Now I know the president is not like up there with the queen. It's like pretty even with the prime minister from what I understand. So it's like not even on the same playing field. So yeah, most of the things when they die, if they're not in office, if like an older president or something that has been out, it's almost all ceremonial. I'm gonna scroll through real fast and read off what they would, what happens when they die, and then I will post again that link in the description, and you guys can go read that for further detail if you want. But I'm just gonna go through this real fast. The U.S. military pays tribute. The president's family plans a funeral. Important venues are draped in black. Funeral planners create a seating chart, so I guess they can determine who sits where. I would think anyone can do that. Mourners attend a 5-day funeral, kind of long, but it is the president. The funeral procession marches through D.C. Totally makes sense. The U.S. military gives a final salute, of course. I think most armed forces get that as well. The casket crosses the country by train. It kind of says that this is a ceremonial thing and you don't have to do it. But that's actually kind of cool because it takes a few days to go across by train. So I kind of like that. I did not know that. The president is buried at a personal site. I like that. Even as president, they get to choose where their final resting place. So yeah. Anyway, I'll post that link below. I just want to bring that up because it's not like such a huge deal. And even if they die in office, we have things in place for that. The 25th Amendment gets invoked. The vice president becomes the president in almost all instances. So anyway, it's not as big of a deal. Flags go half-mast. People pay their respects and stuff, but it's just kind of mostly ceremonial. So anyway, I have talked too much. Let's get into this video and see what's up.
After nearly 66 years on the throne, Queen Elizabeth II is the longest reigning monarch in British history, and has been a constant and calming force amidst the fast-paced changes her country has faced.
That's crazy. Just how long she's been in power is insane. I knew they'll probably say, but I knew she'd been like in power since like 13 or 18 or something.
Making it even more inconceivable to think about what happens when she dies. Born in 1926, she was expected to live a relatively normal life. Well, normal at least by royal standards. As third in line to the throne, spending most of her early years out.
Okay, I think I've actually heard there's something about Yorkies in the royal family. If you guys know and could let me know, because I just kind of know that there's a stereotype, but I would like to know what it is.
The public eye. Everything changed in 1936, when her uncle, King Edward VIII, abdicated the throne in order to marry his true love, Wallis Simpson.
Aww. That's so sweet, like to give up royalty for that. That's awesome.
You see, back then, marrying a divorcee, not to mention a two-time divorcee, was a huge faux pas to the Church of England. And just like that, Princess Elizabeth's father, King George VI, ascended to the throne, making her the next in line. And by 1952, following his death, her time arrived, and the rest is history. When the Queen ascended to the throne in 1952, she was a head of state in 7 countries. The size of the Commonwealth has since expanded to 53 countries, comprising nearly 1/3 of the world's population, and still includes 16 countries where the monarch is officially the head of state.
So yeah, I've seen other videos that kind of explain what they're still in charge of, but when you say 1/3 of the population, it just gives a whole different meaning. Oh, it's crazy.
This brings us to Operation London Bridge, the plan that no one wants to talk about, the plan for what happens when the Queen dies. No matter how secretive Buckingham
Well, you don't have to talk about it because she's never going to die.
Palace may be about the plans that surround her death, everyone knows exactly what to do, and the plans, which were uncovered by The Guardian, are complex, intricate, and timed out to the exact minute. Phase 1, D-Day. According to The Guardian, on the day the Queen dies, Edward Young, the Queen's private secretary, will be the first official to convey the news, setting Operation London Bridge into full gear. And at
That is such a cool it's such a cool code name, London Bridge. I mean, the London Bridge is awesome, but to have Operation London Bridge, that's just, I don't know, I just think that's really cool.
the exact moment in which she passes, Prince Charles will become king, and Camilla will become queen.
Okay, and I think I've heard that this is no longer the case, like, or maybe, I don't know what the drama is, I've only looked into it, but it's either he's not going to become king because she wants her son to be the king. I don't know, whatever. But I don't know if this is still correct or not.
Queen-ish. We'll explain that a bit later. On a secure line, Young will directly inform the British Prime Minister that London Bridge is down. And the news of her death will be distributed to various heads of state before it is disclosed to the general public. Once the Prime Minister is alerted, the Foreign Office's Global Response Centre will alert the 15 governments where the Queen is still considered the head of state. From there, the 37 nations where she still serves as a political figurehead will also be informed. After this, the announcement of her death will be shared with both the UK's Press Association and the rest.
So yeah, her dying is definitely way bigger than like a president, because like I don't like, especially a president that dies out, like, now she's still in power somewhat, so it's a little different, but like if a president dies even in power, it's like the vice president takes over, there's some transfer of power between the president to the vice, but it's just not as a big deal. Like, it's not going to affect, you know, like 37 countries just because a president died.
Rest of the media outlets across the globe. Outside the palace, the news crews will be able to assemble in a predetermined area next to the Canada Gate. The same message will appear on the palace's website on a dark background. All the flags at the palace will be lowered and bells will toll. Both houses of parliament are expected to gather within hours of her death. And on the evening of his mother's death, Charles will make his first address to the public as king. Now, all of this is assuming that she dies in London. If that's not the case, here's how things will play out. Scenario 1. If the Queen dies abroad, the royal equivalent of Air Force One will fly a coffin to the location of her death, accompanied by the royal undertakers, and return the Queen's body to London. Scenario 2.
This is going to sound so bad, but shouldn't they just be taking the casket with them just in case? I mean, I don't know.
If the Queen dies at her Sandringham estate in Norfolk, her body will return to London by car a few days after she passes. Scenario 3. The most intricate scenario of all is if the Queen passes while at the Balmoral Castle in Scotland, where she spends 3 months a year. Scottish rituals will play out before her body returns to London. Phase 2, D-Day +1. Flags will be raised the morning after her death, and at 11 a.m., Charles, the eldest male descendant of Queen Elizabeth, will be proclaimed king. At this point, Charles has waited longer than anyone else in history to assume.
That's because she's just in great health, I guess. I mean, seems like she's doing great.
Assume the throne. Phase 3. D plus 1 through 12. Following the first 24 hours after her death, Great Britain will enter a 12-day mourning period, culminating with the Queen's funeral. King Charles will tour the country, stopping in Edinburgh, Belfast, and Cardiff, to appear at services to honor his mother. During this time, he will...
I'm sorry, but I think she's gonna outlive him. I mean, he looks almost older than she does.
Will also meet with various elected leaders. D plus 1. Westminster Hall will be closed for cleaning. Elaborate and lavish funeral preparations will begin.
Of course, I mean, royalty, you gotta have lavish funerals, for sure.
D plus 4. The coffin will be moved to Westminster Hall during a procession that is expected to take place throughout London. When the coffin arrives, Big Ben will chime. Her body will then lie in state for 4 days. The Queen's orb, scepter, and the imperial crown will be placed on her coffin, and visitors will be allowed to pay their respects for 23 hours a day. D plus 9. In the early hours of the morning, the jewels will be cleaned before the funeral begins. Daily life will come to a halt.
Yeah, I wonder how much those things are worth. Like, I'm sure there's a price. I could just Google real fast, but those things are probably priceless. Like, hundreds of millions at least, I would imagine, is my guess.
In London, businesses and stores will be closed. Big Ben will toll at 9 a.m. on the dot, and the bell's hammer will be covered with leather so that the bell rings in muffled tones throughout the remainder of the day. D
cool.
plus 12. Her coffin will then be moved into Westminster Abbey, and the funeral will begin by 11 a.m. While the media will be allowed to film the services, the faces of the royals will not be shown during prayers. After the funeral, the same carriage that carried her father will return her body to her final resting place at Windsor Castle. It's an understatement to say the Queen's death will mean huge changes for the House of Windsor. As previously mentioned, Prince Charles will become king. So what happens to Camilla? Most royal experts believe that the Queen's death will technically make Camilla the Queen consort, but any speculation about her title is just that. King Charles will ultimately make that official decision. The Queen's death will move Charles's eldest son, Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge, up in the line of succession to heir apparent. After that, William's 3 children will fill the line in their birth order. This includes his daughter. Thanks to a 2011 vote by the British Commonwealth, Princess Charlotte will be second in line, following her big brother George.
Wait, why did they vote to switch that? That doesn't make... I mean, just because I don't know anything about it, but that just doesn't make sense why you would do that. I don't know. Why would you do that? That's really interesting.
So what does this mean for Prince Harry, Charles's youngest? Back in 2013, before the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge had children, Prince Harry was 3rd in line to the throne. Now, Prince Harry is 6th, followed by any children he and Meghan Markle.
Yeah, which I do think that I'm pretty sure they've given up any right to the throne, right? Like they were Duke and Duchess, and then I think they're... I don't even think they're that anymore. Maybe they still... I don't know. I think they live in Canada now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that they no longer have any say-so to the throne.
Markle may have. And last but not least, there's Brexit. The truth of the matter is that the monarch has little to do with the UK leaving the European Union. But considering all of the change that will come from a departure from the EU, the monarchy may be the last standing and the most stable institution left.
Yeah, it's an interesting video. It's really kind of cool to see that they have all that stuff in place, like timed perfectly, like ready to go in action. But yeah, like I said several times, I really don't think you guys have to worry about it because yeah, she's going to live for... She's on probably one of those like 120, 140-year-old at least. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was cool. So yeah, thanks for recommending that to me. It was definitely it's just a fun little video. Like it's one of those things like you never think about. Like I never thought like what it would be like if the Queen died. Obviously we don't have a queen, but it's still just like again, like I said, like the president dying is a big deal, but at the same time it's really not that big of a deal. Hopefully she doesn't die anytime soon. I think that's all I have for now. If you guys watched this far, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I will catch you guys next time. Have a good day.